Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I'm standing at a super weird angle today because I'm here to show you my Newbery shelf. The rest of my middle grade shelf is all right here. It's super tall and it's jam-packed full and it's a hot mess right now because it's the end of March. But I thought for a shelf spotlight in March, of course, a perfect opportunity to share with you all of the Newbery books that I own. Yay! A couple of you have sent me some of these books, so you'll see them on there. And I have them currently organized from the oldest back here all the way up to the newest that I own. Except that I think I am going to haul a couple more before too long here. But we'll just go with what's on here. And I also have a stack of ones that I've already read. So when I get to that year, I will tell you about those ones as well. I have created a spreadsheet, but I'm not going to be using that because I've kind of finagled away from my phone to be hooked to my little clip tripod. So I have this that I picked up from a library, Newbery Medal winners. It ended in this was from 2019. So I've added the last 2 years on there and I highlight as I read them. And this kind of sits on this shelf so that when I get a new book, I can add it to where it belongs. So we're going to go all the way back to the beginning, 1922, except I don't own 1922 book, but I do have 1924, The Dark Frigate. 1928, Gay Neck, The Story of a Pigeon by Don Gopal Mukherjee. 1929, The Trumpeter of Krakow by Eric P. Kelly. Hetty, Her First 100 Years by Rachel Field. This is 1930. Then we skip ahead a couple years to 1935, Daubry by Monica Shannon. And 1942, The Matchlock Gun by Walter D. Edmonds. And 1944, Johnny Tremaine by Esther Forbes. 1945, Rabbit Hill by Robert Lawson. In 1946, the winner was Strawberry Girl by Lois Lenski. Then we come to the first one that I've actually read. This is still the library copy, but I have it out in the other room in my pile of books to haul, and that is The 21 Balloons by William Penne Dubois. This one is from 1948. In 1949, the winner is King of the Wind by Marguerite Henry. In 1952, skipping a couple more years, is Ginger Pie by Eleanor Estes. And in 1954, and now Miguel by Joseph Krumgold. I'm nervous about them all falling. Another one that I have read already is next, and that's from 1957, Miracles on Maple Hill by Virginia Sorensen. And Carla just sent this to me. I did have a library copy that I read from, but Carla, thank you so much for adding to my Newbery shelf. I did not own this one, and I'm really excited about that. And then in 1958, the next year, it's Rifles for Waddy by Harold Keith. 1959 is another one that I've read, The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Spear. So good. That was so good. Onion John is from 1960. Here's a batch that I have all in a row. 1961, I read this month, Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. Also really enjoyed that on audio. And then skip a year. Then we come to another one that I've read, but not this month, a long time ago, A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. It's Like This Cat is from 1964, and it is by Emily Neville. In 1966, the winner was I, Juan de Pareja by Elizabeth Borton de Trevino. And then we have to flip over to the other side. We're making our way. In 1968, the winner was From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by E.L. Konigsberg, and I just read this a couple months ago. 1969, the winner was The High King by Lloyd Alexander, and I believe this is book 5. Yeah, look at that, book 5 in a series. So once I got this one, because it's a Newbery winner, I, of course, had to get the series from the beginning. So someday I'll be starting this series because I'm not going to just jump right in and read book 5. Can't do that. Recently, I found 1970s book Sounder by William H. Armstrong in a little free library. And 1971 is The Summer of the Swans by Betsy Byers. I feel like I read this when I was young, but I don't really remember it. In 1972, the winner was Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim by Robert C. O'Brien, and I did just read this one in March. And in 1973, the winner was Julie of the Wolves by Jean Craighead George. I really want to read this one soon. I think there's only one book in the 70s that I don't yet own. I think that's the only decade where I have almost all of them. Sorry if this is a super awkward video. It's just how I'm going to do it. Okay, we're moving through the 70s. We are on 1974, which is The Slave Dancer. Sorry, you can't really see that. There's nothing on the cover. The Slave Dancer by Paula Fox. 1975 is the one that I don't have. M.C. Higgins the Great. I don't own that one. The Gray King is 1976. This is the year I was born, by Susan Cooper. I believe someone told me this is also part of a series. I need to look that one up. 1977 is not that. 1977 is Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor. So good. I think this is also like book 3 or 4 in a series, but it can be read on its own. As far as I know. I haven't read the others, but I did love that one. 1978 is Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Patterson. One of my favorite middle grades. So heartwarming, heart-wrenching, I should say. And 1979 was The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. Such a fun mystery. Then we move into the 80s, and I have Jacob Have I Loved by Catherine Patterson, 1981. This was the winner. Skipping ahead a little bit to 1985, I have The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley. 1986 is this itty bitty teeny tiny Sarah Plain and Tall by Patricia McLaughlin. The Whipping Boy by Sid Fleischman was the winner in 1987. Number of the Stars was the winner in 1990 by Lois Lowry. Also such a good story. 1991 is Maniac Magee by Jerry Spinelli. I was substitute teaching one time and had to read that with the kiddos. Another one that I recently found at a little free library is Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. And this one in 1992. 1993 was Missing May by Cynthia Rylant. Another little itty bitty one. And a book that I had to read in college. 1994, The Giver came out by Lois Lowry. Lois Lowry has a couple in there. Well done. Well done, Lois Lowry. I loved The Giver. We're in the 90s here, folks. In 1995, Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. This is so good. This cover does not do anything for me. I did not want to pick this up because of its cover, but the story inside is lovely. In 1997, we have The View from Saturday by E.L. Konigsberg. In 1998, Out of the Dust, book and verse by Karen Hesse about the Great Depression was so good. So good. Okay, can I make these fit? This is where it's going to get a little tricky because these will all fall. I'm going to stand holding on to it so they don't all fall over. Okay, so where are we? We did Out of the Dust. So in 1999, Holes by Louis Sekar was the winner. 2000, Bud Not Buddy by Christopher Paul Curtis was the winner. I'm actually going to keep this out to possibly read this weekend because I've been hearing a lot about Christopher Paul Curtis this month, and that's the only one of his that I own, so I want to try to read that this weekend if I can. And then I read this month A Single Shard, which was 2002 by Linda Sue Park. This was the winner in 2002. Very good book. I read that during my Newbery weekend a couple weeks ago. 2003's winner was Crispin by Avi. This is a medieval historical fiction. So cool. 2004, we have a Katie Camillo, and I absolutely love Katie Camillo, and this is The Tale of Despero. So good. I read that aloud to the kids that I nanny recently, and they loved it as well. 2005 is one that I'm listening to currently, Kira Kira. I'm actually going to keep that out as well because I'm going to finish that this month. 2006, I don't have. Oh, yes, I do have 2006. Crisscross by Lynn Ray Perkins. 2007 was The Higher Power of Lucky. I think I'm going to try to read that one too because it's little. 2009, the winner was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is a copy that must have come out before it won. Very cool. This is good. I enjoyed that one. I just learned very recently by looking at the comments on someone else's video that this is a Jungle Book retelling. How did I not know that this is a Jungle Book retelling? It totally works. I've never read the original. I mean, I only know the animated film, but I can see it. That's cool. What year are we on? Graveyard Book? When You Reach Me was 2010, Rebecca Stead. I'd also like to read this one soon. I'm just not sure I'm going to get to it in March. Another one I read this month is Moon Over Manifest by Claire Vanderpool. This won the Newbery in 2011. In 2012, the winner was Dead End in Norvelt. This is a book that was gifted to me in my Christmas book exchange. So that goes on a different shelf. It's not going to go up here because it stays with my Christmas books until I've read it. That's 2012. 2013, one of my favorite middle grades, The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. I absolutely love her. Oh, she's so good. In 2014, Flora and Ulysses by Kate DiCamillo, which reminds me I need to go watch the adaptation of that. And then I do not own 2015, 2016, 2017, The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This has a special place in my heart because this was our first group read for middle grade March in 2018, but it did win the Newbery in 2017, and I absolutely loved it. Oh, so good. And that is it for the ones that I own, although I am going to be hauling Hello Universe, which won in 2018. I have that out in the other room. So there you have it. I own 61 of the Newberys since they came out in 1922. Not all of them. Someday I will own the full collection, but that is just a little spotlight on one of the shelves in my library room, which if I showed you the whole room right now, it's such a mess, especially these shelves. I mean, I'll just give you a glimpse. There's just like stacks upon stacks upon stacks. So thank you so much for this somewhat awkward angle and shelf tour. I am not fancy. I don't have the fancy tripod to do it the nice way that everybody does. So that was my version of a shelf spotlight, looking at all my Newberys. I hope that you enjoyed that. Have you read any of the books that I talked about today? Have you read any other Newberys that are really, really good? I am so excited about this project. It's kind of a lifetime project. I don't have an end goal date, an end date goal. I just want to do it at some point through my lifetime, is to read all of the books that have won the Newbery. So I now have a spreadsheet on my computer as well to help me out with that so I can keep track. And I think I'm making decent progress. Oh, I should see how many I've actually read. So it looks like I've read 25. So I own 62, 61, and I've read 25. That's pretty good. I have a long ways to go, but we're getting there. Little by little. Thank you so much for watching. I would love for you to give this video a big thumbs up. Let's chat down in the comments down below. You guys know I love talking with you down there, and I will be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye.